This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Phil Koski coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Thursday, February the 5th. Trump-Xi call touches on Taiwan as Lai reaffirms 4 unchanged in U.S.-China-Taiwan ties. OAC Minister, China is attempting to challenge U.S. for maritime power, and Canada-Taiwan trade deal at risk of delay. Envoy urges Ottawa to show courage against China. But first, today's top story. U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping discussed trade, military issues, a potential April visit to China, Taiwan, and the Russia-Ukraine war during a phone call on Wednesday, Trump posted on his social media platform. Xinhua News reported Xi emphasizing Taiwan as the most important U.S.-China issue, stating that Taiwan is Chinese territory, adding that Beijing must defend sovereignty and territorial integrity and that the U.S. must handle arms sales to Taiwan cautiously. Taiwan President Lai Ching-te addressed the call on Thursday before a textile industry meeting in Changhua, telling reporters that U.S.-China-Taiwan relations remain unchanged in 4 ways. The Republic of China, ROC, and People's Republic of China, PRC, are not subordinate, and that Taiwan is not part of the PRC. U.S. commitments under the Taiwan Relations Act and 6 assurances hold firm, U.S. Indo-Pacific peace efforts continue, and Taiwan-U.S. cooperation endures. Lai said,
The United States, based on its national security strategy and defense strategy, allies with friendly nations for collective defense, burden sharing, and maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. This direction remains unchanged. Fourth, Taiwan-U.S. relations are rock solid, and all cooperation programs will continue without change.
Lai linked Xi Jinping's arms sales remark to opposition parties blocking a military purchase bill 10 times in the legislature, saying that for Xi, accepting the 1992 consensus means embracing one China with no space for the ROC's one country, two systems interpretation, effectively advancing unification. He urged passing the central budget and the special defense budget first if cross-trade exchanges and cooperation are to proceed without endangering Taiwan. Taiwan's foreign ministry affirmed U.S. commitments, arms sales normalization under Trump, and recent economic prosperity partnership dialogue results, including joint statements on the Pax Silica Declaration and Taiwan-U.S. economic security cooperation. A White House official explained via email that U.S. policy towards Taiwan had not changed based on the Taiwan Relations Act, the U.S. PRC 3 communiques, and 6 assurances consistent with Trump's first term. Ocean Affairs Council Minister Guang Biling voiced her concerns that widespread Chinese research vessel activity beyond the first island chain is indicative of President Xi Jinping's ambition to become a maritime power. In an exclusive interview with Radio Taiwan International on Wednesday, she stated, according to relevant intelligence, these Chinese vessels have repeatedly conducted hydrological surveys in the waters east and west of Guam, as well as the waters south and north of the Hawaiian Islands. She said the motive behind this activity is obvious, that China is attempting to challenge the United States' global leadership. Based on recent statistics from the Coast Guard administration regarding the navigation patterns of 41 Chinese research and survey vessels, Guan emphasized that China's ambitions extend beyond the first island chain to the second island chain. However, to answer growing domestic worries, she confirmed that the Coast Guard administration has long cooperated with the U.S. to build modern capabilities. Guan pointed out American Institute in Taiwan Director Raymond Green's recent visit to Yunlin Warship, a 4,000-ton Jiayi-class patrol vessel operated by the Coast Guard. This was the first time a U.S. official had boarded a ship in the Coast Guard's 26-year history. She said that implications are self-evident, that the Coast Guard administration does indeed have substantial cooperation with the U.S. Coast Guard. The minister stated that countries in the region facing the rise of China's military power should have a new strategic mindset. She said that the U.S. is shifting away from being the sole superpower and is now joining hands with everyone as partners, forming a peaceful chain of multiple countries that will be more powerful than the past strategy. Guan underscored that when China becomes stronger and more unpredictable, the race against time becomes even more evident. The Canada-Taiwan trade agreement, finalized in April 2024 and awaiting final signature, faces potential delays amid shifting China-Canada ties, Taiwan's representative to Canada, Harry Tseng, told Radio Canada in a recent interview. Tseng expressed concern that Ottawa might postpone signing to preserve relations with Beijing, urging the Canadian government to show courage towards China. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney responded on Wednesday that Canada has trade relations with Taiwan but is currently focused on strengthening Canada-China trade relations and emphasized their great progress and success for businesses in the automotive and clean energy sectors. Tseng noted the 10-page framework agreement, signed on every page by negotiators from both sides in English, French, and Chinese versions, as evidence of how close they are to a final agreement. He said, generally speaking, if the documents are signed by both negotiating representatives, they are considered the final version, and this must be respected. Global Affairs Canada confirmed to Radio Canada that the framework was reached in March 2024 and is under review for next steps. The deal covers digital trade, energy transition, supply chain resilience, especially semiconductors. The UK signed a similar pact with Taiwan in June 2024. Tseng said Canada appears willing to sacrifice relations with Taiwan to improve ties with China, citing a contradiction between Carney's Davos speech, advocating trade diversification and criticizing superpowers and Ottawa's actions. Carney visited Beijing in mid-January, the first Canadian Prime Minister to do so since 2017, signaling a thaw. They established a new strategic partnership, lifting multiple tariffs. Global Affairs spokesperson Samantha Loeffler said that as a part of the One China policy, Canada maintains unofficial but important economic, cultural, and people-to-people relations with Taiwan. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, known as TSMC, plans to mass-produce 3nm chips at its facility in Kumamoto Prefecture, Japan, Chairman and CEO C.C. Wei told Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi on Thursday. Wei said the move would boost the local economy and serve as a foundation for Japan's artificial intelligence industry. According to reports by Japan's Yomiuri Shimbun and Kumamoto Nichi-Nichi Shimbun, the project would mark the first domestic production of 3nm chips in Japan. During a meeting at the Prime Minister's office, Wei expressed confidence that the new investment would drive regional growth and strengthen Japan's position in advanced technology. Takaichi called the plan exciting and said the government is prepared to offer support. She emphasized that investments promoting crisis management and economic growth are national priorities and highlighted AI and semiconductors as key strategic fields. TSMC had originally planned to produce 6 to 12nm chips at its second plant in Kikuyo, Kumamoto, operated by subsidiary Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing. The upgrade to 3nm technology will raise equipment investment from $12.2 billion to $17 billion. The company is finalizing details of the plan and is in discussion with Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry over related support measures. Aerospace Industrial Development Corporation President Zhuang Xiaomei spoke to RTI last Friday, commenting on Taiwan's drone development since its drone alliance was announced September 23, 2024, and the importance of drones to Taiwan's defense. Zhuang said Taiwan has already created self-development drones within the short period of time since the Taiwan Excellence Drone International Business Opportunities Alliance was established, with many companies having developed their own products. Chaired by the chairman of the Aerospace Industrial Development Corporation, a major supplier for Boeing, the Taiwan Excellence Drone International Business Opportunities Alliance audits team members and features devices that were made 100% decoupled from the Chinese supply chain in a catalog to showcase trusted products to international buyers. The well-received catalog has dispelled members' reluctance to show import declarations and brought more business to the Taiwanese companies. Purchases from Poland account for over half of the corporation's drone exports, Zhuang said, noting that Poland and Taiwan share a similar geopolitical situation. She stated that China has very high-tech, mature drone technology, yet the United States and European governments won't want to purchase them as decoupling from the Chinese supply chain is crucial for cybersecurity. The corporation president said Taiwan is very good at cybersecurity and that its strengths, its semiconductor technology, and the electric industry will lend themselves well to drone development. She said she believes niches such as those from Poland and Czechia can work together with Taiwan to quickly replace the Chinese supply chain and do so with cost effectiveness. Zhuang said,
Again, Taiwan have the mass production capability, and we have the cost-effective advantage. That is different from the US, different from the Germany, France. That's different because we have the mass production and we are cost competitiveness. So I think if someone who looking for the supply chain to replace the Chinese drone, that Taiwan could be one of the best choice.
Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Phil Laskowski. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.